Right, hi lads and lasses, welcome to Darts Tips and Advice with Dynamite Dave. What we're going to cover today is some practice routines. I've been asked on numerous occasions to come up with some practice routines for people. I've given you before in other videos my 19s, 18s, 17s scenario. So now what we're going to do today is we're going to go on to doubles. So we've got the traditional doubles and we've got finishing the way that I like to finish. People call it showboating and what have you, because it's a different way of thinking. But you're seeing now more and more and more of the professionals starting to finish the way that I suggest. Whether they've been watching my videos or not, I can't say because I don't know. But it's funny how, since I've been promoting finishing on double doubles rather than going a traditional treble and a double, I don't know, but it just seems to be very convenient, let's say, that over the last 2 years that I've been purporting this and promoting this, that it's actually now starting to creep into the game that you see on the television. Stranger things have happened at sea, I suppose they say, but those are my theories in it. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a training routine or a practice routine, whatever you want to call it, and it'll give you a good half an hour, a good 20 minutes, half an hour of practice. Obviously you can fill that in. As I've said to you before, make yourself targets. So once I've given you this basis, you can make your own targets out of it. Right, so number one, and most importantly, is warm up. Throw for your bulls. Throw for your bulls, warm your arm up, warm your body up. Whatever you do, don't go in and for the first like 3 visits, you start throwing and you want to hit a bullseye, let's say, and your darts are going over here and down here and up here, and you think to yourself, you do 2 or 3 visits, and you think, oh, stuff this, I'm crap, I'm going. And a lot of people do that. You'd be absolutely amazed how many people actually do that. They'll come in, they'll throw 3 or 4 visits to the board, they won't hit anything that they're trying to aim for, and they just walk away. And the reason for that is because this is exactly what they're doing, is they're not warming up. All right, you don't have to stand and do star jumps and out like that, you know what I mean, any of that, or running up and down. You don't have to do none of that, but you've got to warm your arm up, because if you don't warm your arm up, your muscles are still tense, they're not relaxed, and they're not moving in that thing. If you warm them up in that, and as you move your arm backwards and forwards, your muscles will then start to relax, they'll start to warm up, and they'll perform better. It's only exactly the same as what the athletes do, or anybody else, gymnasts, anything like that. Everybody tells you you've got to warm up. It's exactly the same for darts. You've got to get into your room or get into wherever you are, get into the pub if you're going to play, and you've got to have 5 minutes, 10 minutes when you're not a proficient or an high-level dart player. You're going to need at least 5 or 10 minutes throwing at the board to warm your arm up, to get the darts to go where you want them to. Also, in that 5 or 10 minutes, you're getting your stance right, you're getting your arm movement right, you're getting your foot position right on the hockey, wherever you're going to play. You're getting that straight in your mind where you need to stand and what you need to achieve to get yourself into the right position. And so you actually play at a better level, and you're more relaxed and you're more confident about what you're doing. It's all part of the mental side of the game, this, as we all know. Right, so like I say, warm up before you try and achieve anything. First practice session, nice and easy. You've got your splittables, what we call your splittables, right? So you've been playing, you've got yourself down to a 40, so you're going for 20s, right? So you go for 20s, and you land just inside the wire, you're on for your double 10. Double 10, this one, you miss it on the outside of the wire, and then what you do is you're trying to attempt to fetch your dart to come in off that barrel and into the double 10. So practice wise is 20s, 10s, 5s. Right, now this is where things become not more complicated, but what things that you've got to think about. Right, so once you've got down to 5s, it all depends. If you've got 1 dart in your hand, you go for the double 5. If you've missed the double 5 and you're coming back to the board, this is the way that I do it. I will go 2 for double 4. Why double four? Because double four's further down on the board, and it's more of a natural thing to throw for, because as you start practicing your doubles and what have you, double 18 is a very important one. But if you go for double 18 and hit it and miss it with your first arrow on the inside, if I miss that on the inside, there's no way I'm going over here, because if I go over here and do that, I'm stuffed, right? So that's not what you do. What you do is, if you go for the 18s and land on the inside, what I always do is I'll go 18s, I'll go for 2. If you've practiced that a lot, you'll hit the 2, big 2, nice and easy. And then you're down here for double 8. Double 8 is probably one of the easiest dart doubles on the board for anybody who's right-handed. I can hit them anyway, I just shuffle across the hockey, and these are just as easy for me. Actually easier, to be honest with you, because with me being like left-handed, my darts tend to come in. If they're going to go anywhere, they go over this way. So if I go into here, I've still got double 4 to go to. So that's your first practice, is 20s for 10s. When you get to 10s, if you've gone 20s and you've gone on the inside, if you've gone 10s and you've gone on the inside, right, you go for 5s. If you've gone 10s on the outside, 10s on the inside, when you come back with your next 3 arrows, it's 2s for 4s is the way you do it. And these like I say, this is the lower level, simple level for not beginners, but people who just play to a normal level. Right, now from that one, obviously we've got the other demonstrable one, which is the one that splits all the way down. Right, so you've got your 16s, your 8s, your 4s, your 2s, and your 1s, all the way up, all the way around to Madhouse. So that one's demonstrably, so no matter what you do, you would stay on them ones until you get round to, well, to be honest with you, I'd bust myself before I got to 1s. And not all, to be honest with you, if I ended up round at 1s, I'd think I'd be one of them. Yeah. So that doesn't happen to me too often. It does happen to me though. It does happen to me every now and again, but not very often. Right, so we've got them. Them are the simple ones. Them are what I call your single hitters. Right, so they're your single hitters. Anything down from there. Now, here's where it gets to be a little bit more advanced and a little bit more interesting, shall we say. So, if someone's going for, let's say, 76, right? So 76, everybody is going to go for this here, 60 for double 8. Most people will go 60 for double 8, won't they? Right, now that 60 is that big. How big is that? Is that size there easier to hit than that size? Now, I know what a lot of you are going to say. If you go for that, you can go on the outside of it. Well, yes, you can. But if you're a proficient dart player and you aim for that inner one there, right, you've got 3 darts in hand. I always go double 18 for double top. That's 76 for me. That's the way I play it. And the reason is, again, I've got one of these here, left. So if I miss that, I've got another shot at it. If I miss it on the inside, I've got another one for double 10. Now logically, and you know I do everything logically, let's do it down here so you can see it a little bit better. That is that big. That is that big. So which is easier to hit? So if you're going for, again, 66, a lot of people will go that for that. 66. So what would you do? 66. Would you go for treble 10 or would you go for double 15? Double 18. I know what I'd go for, double 15. I know it's an odd one, but I know how good I am at hitting doubles, and it's twice the size. Actually, I'd say, to be honest with you, it's a little bit more than twice the size, but it's double the size. So you've more chance of hitting that, haven't you, than you have of hitting that there. Obviously, everything that I do is totally personal, but this is the way that my brain thinks about things. And that's why I've developed the throw that I've developed and the videos that I've done, and you'll see everything that I do within them is logical. And those sort of things seem to be filtering down. As I said earlier on in this video, a lot more of the professionals now are going double. A lot and I think a lot of that was in the old days, in Eric Bristow's days, God rest his soul. That was considered to be disrespectful. How can it be disrespectful? You're there to win. It's not disrespectful in any way, shape or form. What it is, and it's not showboating. Why is it showboating? How can you be showboating when you're doing something that's easier? Just doesn't make sense, that, does it? So it's not showboating. It's using common sense and going for what actually is the easier way of doing things. I mean, you can convert that on, can't you? You can go for, if you're doing it, you could do, and I have done this. People don't like this. There you go. There's your 90. A lot of people will go 60, won't they, for double 15, and that'll leave you one in hand. But depends on how you want to go. That, I would say, yes, probably is being a bit flash. I do it though, and people hate me for it. But another one that I do, and I do this all the time, and another one that people don't like at all, and I put a picture of this up the other day. 126. That's how I do 126. That's how I do 126, because I find that easier than doing it the traditional way. So that's just the way that I think about things. It's the way that my brain works. Also, 132. A lot of people, and they all say this like this. So if you miss this, you can go for treble 19. Two of them for 32. Why? For me, another eightful one that I like doing is this one. 132. But again, if I've hit that one, it's easier to hit that. It's easier to hit that and that than it is two bullseyes. A lot easier. That bullseye is that big, and then up here you've got that big and that big. So again, like I say, it's all logical in the way that I do things and the way that I think about things. So that's like the first practice regime and the first thinking behind the practice regime. And also added on to that is my theory behind finishing, really. Like I say, it depends on how advanced or how much of a beginner you are, but I'm thinking about these sort of things, me, right the way from, well, 400, 350, 300. I'm thinking about these sort of things, where I'm going to leave myself. So it's all about a strategy, and it's all about working that through, getting it straight in your mind. Like I say, nice practice session to start off with. First one's doubles, the next one will be scoring. So this one's my theory on the doubles, how to practice them. So it's your 20s, your 10s, your 5s, or split, depending on how many arrows you've got left in your hand. And then you've got your demonstrables, which is your 16s, 8s, 4s, 2s and 1s. Obviously, if as a beginner you've been doing my routines and my grouping routines and you like throwing for the bull, have a go for it. If you miss, then all you've got to do is work out where you're going from there. When you're practicing, obviously in a game, you're there to win, aren't you? So if you're there to win, then you'll do the split in the way. But again, why go for something that's that big when you can go for something that's that big? Just my theory and just the way that I think about it. So there we go. That's another video for you. Thanks for watching Darts, Hints, Tips and Advice. And just to show you what I've got on my shirt. There we go. Ministry of Darts. Right, so thanks for watching Darts, Hints, Tips and Advice. And don't forget, lads and lasses, always, 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 toe to the hockey.